it's so nice to have somebody that appreciates a good football team and a good fan base finally on the show. And I can say that because not only is he a Birds fan, it's also pretty much everything on his handle. So, and he got to do something really, really cool with a bunch of Eagles fans, which we're going to go into a little bit later. But right now, this is Mr. Luis Ortiz, Luis, by the way.
That's correct.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, a little bit about how Lewis and I met. We are in the same fantasy football league of Mr. Stan Stosh Altry, who is currently the reigning, defending fantasy football champion.
Yes, I am.
So
Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm glad you said something.
We'll give you a little bit of a appreciation there.
And don't forget to tell him it was my first year. So
I'm sorry. It was also his first year in our league, too, as well. Not the first year playing fantasy football.
No, but the first year in the league.
Yeah, that's... Guess who comes in last all the time?
Oh, man. We're going to change that this year. You're going to change it.
Yeah, hopefully. I don't know. The draft class this year, well, on top of all the new stuff that they added into it, on top of all of, like, you know, now you have the COVID protocols, everybody's injured, nobody's getting enough practice time. It was a hard draft.
Yeah, it sure was.
I didn't really know what to do. What's your strategy going into drafts?
Well, last year was the first year that I really kind of put some time into it and try to listen to some YouTube videos and some fantasy information, read some magazines. But I think my strategy, last year and this year is more this year. Because last year I went receiver heavy. This year I went running back heavy. So I wanted to go running back heavy because they give you more points if you have good ones.
Yeah.
So I'd rather pick 3 running backs in the first 4 to 5 rounds.
We just went to the new point system too, and
Yes.
Now we're doing, what is it, half points or
half point?
Yeah, so half yards.
Yeah.
So that's also going to make it interesting, especially going in before knowing that. Now it's like, oh crap, my whole entire game plan's changed now.
I know. So I'm 3 years in. So I'm still a newbie. I'm still a newbie, and just getting hooked. It's tough for me because being a Bird fan, being an Eagles fan, I don't like anything disrupting that.
Yeah.
And I find myself looking at other players and other teams. And I had a draft, a Cowboy player, and that was disturbing. But, I was looking at, the prize.
Yeah.
So I had to make some sacrifices against
some drastic decision making there.
Yes. So
I this year for our league at least I went running back heavy, of course. No, actually, I'm sorry, wrong league. I went wide receiver heavy. I did. I don't know why. The draft I was telling you about earlier, before we started, I actually switched it up and I went running back, tight end.
Okay.
And then running back.
Okay.
So I don't know. We'll see which one works out better.
What tight end did you pick?
Oh my gosh, Waller.
Okay.
Yeah, Waller.
That's a winner.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah,
you gotta get him
winner.
early.
Yeah,
get him early, right?
Yeah, he's their own. Well, not their only, but he's their biggest weapon. So he's gonna get the targets. He's gonna get the yards. He's gonna get the yak.
Yep.
So yeah, that was definitely a good tight end to pick up.
So we also on the Birds just got Mania.
Yeah.
How you feeling about that?
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I think competition.
Is the stash back?
Yeah, right. I think competition is good, man. I think when it comes to the Birds, I've been a nutso Eagles fan for a long time and went through all the phases where I was highly emotional and highly delusional.
Yeah.
So after winning our championship in 2017, I'm at ease with the team restarting, starting over. I think it's going to be a tough season for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I don't look at draft picks. I don't look at rookies or free agents like I used to because there's always a time of are they going to be able to connect? Are they going to be able to perform?
Yeah.
Different offense, different defense,
Yeah.
and coming to Philadelphia.
It's tough.
Yeah, I mean, look at Ben Simmons. I mean, they're going to he doesn't want to come back.
Yeah.
He knows why.
Yeah.
He's going to be massacred. He's going to being a Philadelphia athlete, you're put at a pedestal, but you also have, mandates from the fans, because the fan base in Philadelphia is very knowledgeable and very, very emotional and very vocal, as we all know. So, yeah.
I'm probably the quietest Philadelphia fan ever.
Yes, you are. You're pretty quiet.
With that, too, I think Hurts is still too green.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like our O-line. I haven't liked our O-line in a while, probably since the Super Bowl team. Defense, I'm 50-50 on right now. I've seen some of the rookies coming up, and I like what they're doing. It's that quarterback situation for me. As much as people joke about Mania, I mean, he's proved himself to me. So I don't really know what I'm expecting out of this season. It's not the Eagles. I know that. Stosh was on here, and I said, who are you predicting for the Super Bowl? And he says, Raiders and Eagles. I said, what? Oh,
yeah,
man.
I think he was messing with you on that one. I heard that episode, and I was like, what?
I think, at least for the league this year, you now have a pretty much completed Tampa Bay Buccaneers from last year. Know each other now. Brady's ready. I'm not saying they're going undefeated, but they're definitely comfortable with each other. You noticed last year when they started off, did not have any communication with each other, all over the place. Look how long it took, and then they just got it down. So I'm calling Tampa Bay, and I'm calling Kansas City again, because I just think that Patty Mahomes wants revenge, and he's got to prove that Baby Goat is Goat now. So
yeah, I don't think Andy Reid is going to make that same mistake of not having some backup linemen. Yeah, I think I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think those are the two teams that you have to beat.
I don't see anybody else.
Yeah, I really don't.
Maybe the Titans.
Yeah, the Titans can make a push. I mean, there's a couple teams that can make a push. I just don't know if any of those teams have enough veterans, enough
to carry
experience,
along.
to carry it all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. It's like, when you get to those big games, to have those veterans that aren't going to make those mistakes.
Yeah. And it's not even the fact that they're playing. It's the fact that, they're there for that guidance because they've been to that stage before.
That's right.
So, yeah. I think that's something they're lacking.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see. I'll still be watching my Birds every Sunday.
Go Birds.
Going to a couple games. So, yeah, beware if we lose and I have to drive back to Lancaster.
What games are you going to?
I'm going to the 49ers game.
Okay.
My cousin is a diehard 49ers fan.
Good choice.
And pretty much probably Tampa Bay. I think it's another one I am going to. And I was talking to my friend today. He's going to be proposing after the Eagles game. October 2nd. Who do we play October 3rd?
I don't remember.
I forget who it is.
I looked at the schedule once and then didn't think.
Yeah, but I'm going to be going down there and capturing his proposal.
Okay.
So I'll probably catch that game since I'm going to be in Philadelphia.
Nice.
So about 3 games this year.
So segue, I guess, capturing pictures. So one thing about Mr. Lewis here is, switch the wrong camera, is that I appreciate him, and we've only met a handful of times. We don't hang out every day type deal. Yeah. But I mean, like right away when I met him, I'm just like, all right, my guy. Like, and he's one of the people that actually inspired to help get this started. We were talking, and he was working on a business at the time, which we'll get into, and then also something later. But telling me about that and telling me like there's no better time to start than now. You hear that so many times off of like YouTube motivational videos, or people that you're just like, I shouldn't take this person's opinion, but like when you actually hear it from someone that's genuine, like you can do this, you can go do it. And I thank you for that day, and I thank you and appreciate
You're welcome. You're welcome. Monday you were going to be successful.
Well, thank you. It's nice to have you on to experience this.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
All my 32 listen. No, I'm just kidding.
But, hey, listen, it takes a while. You just have to be, you have to be patient, and you have to be constantly doing this.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
people will come. This is the beginning.
Absolutely.
From listening to you, it's a great beginning.
Mm.
You're very well spoken. You just know what you're doing. I think you have a great voice. I think this is what you're made for.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
So, yeah, man, you just have to keep going. It's funny because I remember us talking about this.
Yeah, outside. We were drunk as
yeah,
anything.
yeah, we were drunk, but we were talking about it, and I was like, dude, that's so cool. Like, do it,
Yeah.
do it, because I know that what can come from it,
Yeah.
and I knew from your drive and from your words that you would do it.
Thanks, man.
So I wasn't surprised when I found out that you were doing it. I was excited, went on and started listening to your stuff, and I was like, okay, all right,
Thanks,
awesome,
man.
awesome.
I appreciate it. Man.
Just don't forget about me, 5 years from now when you're.
I'm not to say that about you.
When
You're
you
gonna
have,
blow up.
when you have 500 million people following you.
I don't even think I want that many people following me, to be honest
I
with
know
you.
that would be torture.
That'd be crazy. So part of, this whole thing, as you guys know, is that everyone has a story to tell. And right now, Mr. Lewis is going through a really cool time in his life. It's definitely very stressful. It's definitely very giving, I would say, to humble yourself, put yourself in the situation that you're in because of something that you love to do and something that you want to turn into an actual job and work. And that's something that everybody, I think, needs. Like, what do you want to do? Don't let work define who you are. You define what work is for you, and I think that you're the pivotal poster child for that one. So, amazing photography that you do. Absolutely amazing photography that you do. You get to travel around. It is called Times Remembered.
Times Remembered Photography and
Times
Videography.
Remembered Photography, yes. I was going to say Remembered Times for some reason, but I was like, wait, no, that's not right. So you just got back from the PR, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I just got back from Puerto Rico.
Yeah, how was that?
It was excellent. Let me just go back a little bit here. Back in the early 2000s, I was acting and doing some shows and traveling, and I loved being in front of the camera.
Yeah.
But now at a later age, I've decided that I want to do what I love.
Yeah.
After raising kids and doing what I had to do as a father, a single father at that, I decided it was time. My son is almost 18; he's with his mother, and my daughter's grown; she has kids of her own.
Nice.
So I made the decision that I want to do what I love.
Yeah.
Because if I die tomorrow, I want to be doing what I love.
Yeah.
So photography and videography is what I chose. In 2009, we'll segue into the film. In 2009, a friend of mine and myself that were crazy Eagles fans, we would go to the Philadelphia Eagles games, and what we would do is get there Saturday night around 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Then we would party till about 6 in the morning, and then we would walk across when the guards would come in.
Okay.
And they would open the gates, and we would sleep right underneath the ticket booth.
Okay.
And we did that for about 3 years in a row. And we got to meet players, we got to meet coaches, we got to meet the owner, we got to meet Howie, we got to meet everyone and anyone that had anything to do with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
Joe Carlin, which was in charge of ticket sales. So they knew that we were the first ones at the ticket window, and what we would do is we would wait there till half an hour before the game, and any ticket that was available that was given back by a player, which is what we usually would get with player family tickets, we'd have the option to buy them.
Okay.
So we would buy 4 tickets, and we would sell 2 of them at a price that we can come back.
Nice.
Drink, party, eat, sleep, and then buy more tickets.
Yeah.
So for 3 years, that's what we did. We got to know everyone, and I came up with the bright idea because we knew so many of the players. Hugh Douglas was a player that I talked to. Hugh, player that I talked to all the time, and I looked at Damien, which was my assistant director, one of my close friends, my best friend at that time, and my assistant director. And I said, you know what? Maybe we should film him, and maybe we should put something on YouTube. And that's how Green Fans the movie started. We put a clip on YouTube, and we have good reaction to it.
Yeah.
And we decided, we're always so frustrated as Eagles fans until 2017, because for 65 years we've been losing.
Yeah.
We've been the punching bag in
Laughing
the
stock.
NFL for years and years and years. And of course, our fans have done some crazy things like throw rocks, which I'll tell you that story if you want to know the true story at Santa Claus.
Oh. Special scoop coming up soon.
Snowballs, not rocks. That was the Giants that threw rocks at the players.
At the players, yeah.
So, we decided to make a short film. And then it was a documentary, and then it was too long, so we decided to make a documentary film. And we called it Green Fans because we wanted to do something to represent the fans, for them to be able to voice their stress, their anxiety, in a positive way. Yeah. But we also wanted to show the positive things that you got from being so emotional. Yeah. The bond that you form with other Eagle fans, whether you're white, black, female, didn't matter. Yeah. When you go to an Eagles game and you're at the tailgate, it doesn't matter who you are, what color you are, where you come from. Yep. If you bleed green, you bleed green. Exactly. And you can't fake it because people know. Yeah. So we thought, why not? And our motto, our tagline was "For the fans, by the fans." Okay. And I decided to, I said, if we're going to do this, we can do this big. Yeah. We're two guys that we're middle class guys. We're not making, six figures of anything like that. So I came up with a triangle plan, and I decided, we know all these athletes, we know all these people. I said, let's form a triangle, and what we'll do is we'll figure out who would want to interview for this film. Yeah. The film was based on 10 fanatical Eagle fans, and we followed them over a year, their lives as Eagle fans. But we didn't think that would be enough, so what we decided to do is we decided to bring players in and ask players to talk about the fans and what their connection was with the Philadelphia Eagles fans. Yeah. We also did some Philadelphia Eagles groups. We have some singers, some rappers. We had different kind of people in the film. Yeah. So with this triangle, what we decided to do was, like for instance, we tried to get Will Smith. Okay. So I started putting posts out and started calling a lot of people that I knew in the acting the world, and I got the connection of his. First we got the connection of a guy that was the teacher of his son. Okay, so he taught his son.
You went super detective.
Yeah, we went super detective, dude. Like, it was crazy. Like, once we started posting stuff and once we started asking things, people were like, "Oh, I may know someone that knows him." So the long story with Will Smith is
Smith of all people.
Yes, we got 3 connections to him, and we got to talk to him, but he was filming.
I Am Legend.
No, not I Am Legend. The one when he was a bum and he had the superpowers.
Suicide Squad?
No.
The bum with the superpower.
Yeah, he wear that big hat. Jeez, I should know this. This is embarrassing. Well, he was doing one of his films, so we could not get a hold of him.
We got to figure that out.
We could not get a hold of him, and then we tried for Sylvester Stallone. At that time, I had a company, a cleaning company, and which was great because it gave me the opportunity to travel and do some of these things. And one of the doctors and one of the companies that my company cleaned, his mother lives in the same neighborhood as Sylvester Stallone. So I'm like, okay, so there's connection number one. Yeah. We went through Pat Croce because Pat Croce was the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles, and he got us a second connection to Sylvester. So we got to talk to Sylvester, but Sylvester was filming Rambo, and I guess he filmed it in Thailand or Asia, somewhere in Asia.
The new one. What year was this?
No, this was 2007, 2008.
Okay.
I think it was, because the film came out around 2009.
Oh,
so it was one of the older Rambos.
Real quick, back to the Will Smith thing. I Am Legend?
No, I Am Legend.
Hancock?
Hancock. Yes,
okay.
It was Hancock.
It was Hancock.
So, I felt like I failed at getting those two big stars.
Yeah.
But I really didn't, because just the ability to be able to talk to those guys was pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So we decided to reach out to the players. You know what? Let's get players first. This is a Philadelphia Eagles film. We will get people as we go by. So we were able to get Pat Croce. That was the owner of the Sixers. Yep. He flew us down to Key West. We were down there at the Rum Barrel, which is an Eagles club down there.
Okay.
So that was pretty awesome. We filmed them down there.
Well, I gotta ask this before we move on.
Yeah.
What was all this being filmed on?
Oh man, it was filmed on a Canon G 2G.
Okay.
Which was a oh man, it was great for low lights.
Yeah.
We couldn't afford anything new.
Yeah.
So this is what we got.
Yeah.
Now, it's funny you said that, because the problem we ran into is the film took a little bit longer than a year.
Yeah.
But what happened is technology changed during that time.
Correct. Yeah.
So we had to match this film like 4 different kind of
generations.
Generations of camera.
Yeah.
So that took some hands-on learning. Like I said, I've always been in front of the camera. Now I was behind the camera, and everything was learning on the fly.
Yeah.
Everything was our personality and our abilities to make short-term relationships with people that would get us to meet the players, to meet Donovan McNabb, Brian Dawkins. I can go on and on and on.
Yeah.
So many players that they're on our film. I probably have 30 players in the film, celebrities, and then the 10 fanatical fans that, we follow for that whole year.
What were some of the fans? Would they be recognizable from TV and stuff?
Yes, well, of course, Sean. Sean with the painted face.
Yep.
But there was so many other fans. What I wanted to do is I wanted to get fans from different areas.
Yeah.
In Philadelphia, you had Chuck, the tattoo man.
Okay.
He's the guy that has like 200 Eagles tattoos. You had Stevie Wright, he was a Eagles performer, so he would rap Eagles stuff.
Okay.
We had the first female inducted into the Fans Hall of Fame in the NFL.
Okay.
We had all sorts of amazing people. We had some people in Lancaster.
Okay.
We had Kenny Myers that owns Kegel's Produce.
Yes. Okay.
And the thing about Kenny, a lot of people don't know, because he doesn't really, tell people stuff. But Kenny's thing was, if you watch the film, is this dude had a vault with Eagle stuff from 1933.
Jeez.
He had cards from every single year since 1933, because his grandfather and parents passed that on. That was in mint condition. He had this Eagles collection that was just ridiculous.
Jeez.
Kenny was awesome. He helped us with the film. He helped us financially, and using some of his connections to put the film together and distribute it. But I met so many Eagle fans. We traveled all over the United States. We went to Arizona to film players, and everywhere we would go, we would have connections. We'd go to the game. We'd visit the stadium.
Yeah.
We'd get on the field. We'd talk to older players.
Yeah.
And I have friends all over the United States now.
Yeah. Just from that experience.
Just from that experience, man. And I'm telling you, it's like these Eagle fans. It was one of the most amazing things.
It's amazing to me to see how many Eagles fans are in this country. Because seriously, where was my layover at? Detroit one time. And I get out, and they're selling Eagle stuff out there, like majority of Eagle stuff. I'm like, wait a minute, did I get on the wrong plane? Am I back in Philadelphia? Mexico. I was down in Mexico, and they had a bunch of Eagle stuff.
Yes.
And actually, a really funny story with that. When I was in the car industry, I had to go down to Houston, Texas for a class thingy for whatever financial stuff. And I had a gentleman in there from Houston, Texas, and I can't remember his name, man. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, bro, if you watch this, but what was his name? Anyway, he was a older guy in the class, Mexican guy. He loved the Philadelphia Eagles, and he was from Dallas, Texas. And he said why, and he said because when he was a kid, his father loved Eagles and had him up, and he said, why do you have all this eagle stuff? And he goes, because an eagle represents freedom, and we're in America, and this is free. And he said, so then when we were watching football, I seen this team, and he was like, look, Dad, an eagle and everything. And he's like, that's when I knew it was my favorite team. And I was just like, that story is so cool, bro.
That's pretty awesome.
I mean, and he was a diehard. He had everything. He was asking me when I came back up here to go to the pro shop and just buy him a bunch of stuff, because it was the year we won the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I gotta tell you the story. Sorry, I'm talking too much.
Right.
Listen,
That's okay. Go ahead.
When we won the Super Bowl was when I had to leave for that school the day of. All right. We were supposed to catch a flight out at 10 a.m. From Harrisburg.
Okay.
That was the day we had that big-ass snowstorm on the day of the Super Bowl.
That's right.
They canceled our flight. So my buddy and I look at each other and we're like, what are we going to do? Like, we can't wait for another flight. And then he's like, why don't we catch just a direct flight from Philly to Houston down in Philly? I'm like, okay. So we drive down to Philly. So we get there, and literally our flight leaves the second that the Super Bowl starts. I'm on this flight trying to connect to Wi-Fi. I didn't buy the Wi-Fi package in time. I didn't have anything to watch it on. I couldn't do anything. I'm just like looking at live scores somehow, like through that. I'm like, why can't I get you on the screen? We land. I jump off that plane as quick as I possibly can as soon as they let me out, run into the terminal, into the little lobby, and I watch Gronk miss the pass.
Wow.
The last
play. That's
and
awesome.
it was over. And I'm just like, you gotta be kidding. I was so heated. I told my owner about that. He's like, how was the flight? I was like, because it was my first time flying too. And I said, it was good. It was a little cold. I was like, I'm a little bummed. He's like, well, why? He was like, because I missed the Super Bowl. And I forget what he said. It was something stupid like, oh, you missed a good one or something like that. I was like, this is your fault.
Yeah, thanks a lot, buddy. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Anyway, that's my Super Bowl Eagles story that no one wanted to hear about. But
thanks, man.
Back to the Green fans. The players that you were interviewing at the time were part of a great era of Eagles football because they were still in that early 2001 kind of group, like flying over. I have to know, you said you did speak to Brian Dawkins.
Yeah.
What is that man like in real life?
He's well, when you see Brian Dawkins playing football, you think of this, like the Wolverine, this athlete that just is able to control all his energy, and focus on, just crushing other athletes. And you think of him as such a powerful individual, because that's what you see him do. Yeah. And if anybody knows about Dawkins, his persona changes when he gets to the stadium. Yep. Some people say that he turns into Wolverine. He uses that as, something to get him pumped up. But Mr. Dawkins was also gentle and also loving. Trying to get a hold of Brian was a little tough. We had Donovan's agent's number, and we also had his the person that's in charge of his media. And we got the call one day, and they said, guess what? Brian is going to be in Lancaster County. In Lidditz at the sports shop. So we talked to his agent. His agent said, yeah, he will give you 5 minutes, because when he's signing stuff, it gets a little crazy. And it was crazy. There was people all the way around the mall out there, all around the stores. I mean, there was probably 500 people there. Yeah. And he was there for 6 hours. Jeez. But when he started talking to us, he had already done some research. He knew who we were. Yeah. Soft-spoken, Christian man. Nice. Very gentle, very understanding, and very giving of his time. Yeah. He told us if we needed anything to get a hold of his agent, he would be more than happy to help us. Okay. So it was a little weird because I'm thinking Dawkins, I'm thinking suplex, I'm thinking knock him out, like
Spear off the top rope.
Yeah, like saliva coming out the side of your mouth, and we get this guy. He gives a handshake, he gives a hug,
Very gentle.
Yeah, and at the end he's like, "God bless you," be blessed. And I'm like, "Yeah,
give you a hug, man."
And I was like, oh, "Okay," and I was so enamored by the whole thing and so overwhelmed that it was like I was in my filming zone.
Yeah.
And even though I have other pictures with Brian Dawkins, I didn't think about getting a picture with him that day because I didn't want to waste his time.
Yeah.
What he gave us was very valuable.
Yeah.
But it was memorable, man. It was pretty awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And he was definitely one of my favorite players in that era.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Trotter was awesome. Trotter was also very good to us. He invited us to a couple events and got to spend some time with him.
Was Kurt still around then?
Yes, and I don't know if you know my story about my son.
No.
My son's name is Javon.
Oh, okay. Is there a reason?
Well, the year of the Super Bowl.
The first one or
the first one, not the first one, but the
the
2004.
Yeah.
My wife was pregnant with my son.
Okay.
And the doctor says, "You can't fly," even though we had tickets to the Super Bowl.
No.
She had my son the week after the Super Bowl.
You did tell me this story, but keep going.
Yes.
It's so heartbreaking.
So I was so devastated, and I was devastated, but I wasn't going to chance my child or my wife being, in danger. So
Absolutely.
I wanted to go by myself, but I said, "Nah, I don't think that's a wise thing to do." So that's all I need. It's like, yeah, we know you're a fanatical fan, but
is your feet up?
Yeah,
okay?
All right, yeah.
I'll be back in tomorrow.
Yeah, all right. So, yeah, we didn't go to Super Bowl. We stayed home, and the baby didn't come that week. He came right after the Pro Bowl. So, my favorite player at that time was Javon Curse because I think he fit Philadelphia Eagles perfectly. Like die hard, super high motor. When I saw him cry, after the Super Bowl,
after that loss,
it was like this dude loves.
Yeah,
he loves what he's doing. He loves what's going on here.
Pause right there because it happened to a friend of mine too with LeBron James. I've always respected LeBron James when he came into the league, but because of what he's done, it could be questionable if he deserves some of the things that he deserves.
Mm-hmm.
When we were watching the finals, when he took Cleveland to that NBA championship and he fell on his knees crying, like my friend was like, "Okay, now I respect you because you're so far into this now.
That's right.
And you know what just happened."
That's right.
And that's how Javon was to me. That's how Brian, Freddie, all of them, Deuce.
Mm-hmm.
That was you seen that passion in their eyes, and it was so close.
So close, and they had the people to do it. But it's been a great ride, man.
Absolutely,
it's been a great ride. I was blessed to meet that whole team through Green Fans.
Yeah, and it wasn't something that was just it wasn't an independent project, but CSNBC picked this up. It was on Fox. It was on. I was researching it because I couldn't find it to watch it, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's one thing. We didn't put it on YouTube. We have clips on YouTube, but we didn't put the film on YouTube.
Yeah.
And what happened with that is towards the end of making the film, we ran into some controversy with the NFL.
Oh.
We ran into some controversy with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay.
Both of those entities were not happy with the voicing of some of the stuff that took place. But it was a fan film.
Yeah.
Which was one of the reasons why we didn't partner up with
them in the first
place. Yeah. It was tough. We had to make some tough decisions.
Yeah.
But we decided to go on our own and, pay for it ourselves.
Yeah.
We got a lot of help from players and a lot of help from fans. It was an amazing ride. It was an amazing experience, and it's a film that a lot of people have.
Yeah.
And still to this day, people come up to me and are like, "Hey, Green Fans, yeah, man, I still watch that movie, a couple hours before the games. It gets me pumped up."
Yeah.
So it was It was an amazing thing to do. We met amazing people. I met Jose,
Yes.
which is one of my best friends.
Good friend Jose,
A
also
good
in
friend
the
of
league.
ours, also in the league.
Also going to lose.
We met through Green Fans, and Jose was very young at the time, and Jose had graduated from school as a photographer editor, and he came right in and helped us with the film. So I just can't tell you how blessed I am to experience, and everybody that I met through it. It was an amazing thing. Still to this day, I can call the Philadelphia Eagles and get tickets if I need to, or get on the field, or have a visit. So yeah, it's been pretty amazing.
It worked out.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, it worked out.
I want to. So can you still buy it, or is it available?
You can't buy it.
Okay.
Like I said, the ending of our the ending before the film came out, there was a lot of legal stuff that was going on.
So the film's completely taken down off everything.
Well, no, it's not taken down.
Okay.
I mean, you see still pieces and bits and pieces, but I had stepped down, and finishing the finishing of the film was done without me.
Okay.
I gave those rights over to other people.
Yeah.
So it would be up to them to decide to put it on again. Now, we were called before about doing a Green Fans 2.
Yeah.
Several times, but things just didn't work out.
Oh, if you could have got that championship year.
Yeah, well, we got a championship year. There's a movie that came out last year.
Yeah.
I forget what it's called, but it was the same premise. It was kind of the same thing. They were smarter than we were. They agreed with the Philadelphia Eagles, so they got access.
Yeah.
Even though Steve Sable was in our film, and he gave us permission to use NFL films, clips.
Yeah.
It's different in the NFL.
Yeah.
They're two different
entities.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. You can find some copies somewhere. I have some at home, I think.
Yeah.
That I have them sparingly. I have
I'm gonna need one of those.
Yeah. Well, you'll probably get one. I have talked to my assistant director about trying to put it up. So I think that's something that's in the works.
Yeah.
But it was one of those projects that was done and it was over. We got more than money for it. We got relationships and friendships and people that we still talk to this day.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And a connection with the Eagles fan. I tell you what's crazy. Somehow my phone number leaked out during the film.
Okay.
And we're talking about, thousands and thousands and thousands of people that we interacted with on a daily basis, games and traveling and all the media stuff that we did during those times. It got to the point where my phone number leaked out that people would call me 5 or 6 times a day.
Jeez.
And they were like, "Hey, Green fan." And I'm like, "Yes, who is this?" It's just so-so. I'm from Dallas. I'm an Eagles fan in Dallas. I wanted to know what you think happened today at the game. And I'm like, did you watch the game?
Yeah.
I'm not a coach, brother.
Yeah.
I've made the film, but I am not in the organization.
Yeah.
But that would show you how dedicated and how emotionally attached Eagle fans can be.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was, dude, it was amazing.
Yeah.
To be able to travel all over the United States and to have people take you into their homes, celebrities.
Wow.
We didn't get to meet Sylvester, but his brother was an Eagles fan, and we hung out with Sly. No, not Sly.
Frank
Frank
Yeah,
Stallone.
Frank.
And Frank, I learned a lot about Frank. Frank is very. He's done a lot of things.
Does he sound just like Sylvester?
Well, he kind of sounds like Sylvester, but he's quite the musician.
Oh, really?
He's probably put out 5 or 6 records.
Okay.
And he did a lot of music for films.
Okay.
Saturday Night Live, he stepped in when the Bee Gees pulled out. The Bee Gees have that first song.
Yeah.
He did the score to the rest of that movie because that was a film that was put together through Sylvester.
Okay.
So, I got to spend some time with him, and that was pretty cool. Pat Croce. Crazy.
Oh, man.
Hardcore. You talk about energy.
Yeah.
He's the Gary V of
Yeah.
2000, early 2000s.
He walked by us one time at a Sixers game. '06. Yeah, would have been '06. And it's just like you could just feel him.
Yes.
Like when he walked by, I'm just like, ugh. And I was just like, oh my gosh. I was like, it's Pat Hershey.
Yeah, he was amazing, man. He flew us to Key West and let us stay at his place and
Yeah.
had us there for a whole week. And he was just, when we filmed him, we said, we filmed him twice. We filmed him at his home in New Jersey, and then we filmed him in Key West. But when we went to his home in New Jersey, he stood in his living room, and I said, "You want some questions? Do you want before we interview you?" He's like, "No, just fire him out." And he just went. He went on a rant and talked about the Eagles and the organization for like 25 minutes. We didn't have to ask him a question. He covered everything we thought we wanted to ask him and more.
Yeah.
So his fire was unbelievable. And if you see the film, he talks about, I went from taping Charles Barkley's, ankles to paying Allen Iverson, and he talks about the drive. And that's one of the things that he talked to us personally. He said, dude, keep going.
Yeah.
Keep fighting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was an amazing time in my life. And I'm excited for everyone that it touched. My children are diehard Eagles fans, and
Well, they have to be.
and they got to live it.
Yeah.
So every event that we went through, every time we got invited to something that had to do with the Philadelphia. I mean, they've been to so many games. They've been to all the camps. They've been to, they hung out with players.
Yeah.
So they lived that life, and a lot of those things, as a regular fan, I wouldn't be able to give that to them. I wouldn't be able to have them walk with players. I wouldn't have them go into the locker room. I wouldn't have them go to these events.
Yeah.
So it was a connection, like our film. It was a connection between parent and child.
Yeah.
That connected us.
Yeah.
Through the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
Regardless of what anybody thought about them.
Yeah.
And I believe that's with every team.
Yeah.
You have this connection between parents and children. You have this connection between, individuals, no matter who you are.
Yeah.
That brings you together, gives you the opportunity to, get to know someone and say, oh, you're just not black. You're an Eagles fan.
Yeah.
Oh, you think the way I do. You feel the way I do. You like the things I do.
Yeah.
This is cool. So I love that about the film.
I just think that's amazing how you got to live out something that you always wanted to do.
Yeah.
Meet all these players and be able to take your kids through that journey too as well. Like I talked about this, I forget with who, it might have been Stosh, but how how expensive just like games are anymore. It's not like 40, 50 years ago you could just walk right into the stadium, not even worry about it, and have like a family outing. Like that's not there anymore. So the people that keep like striving to tell their kids to get up off the couch, get away from the video games, go hit a ball or something, that's cool to see the fandom that's still out there for the Eagles, because I don't think it ever died.
It's pretty crazy. The parade was pretty amazing. I've been to the Phillies parade. I was a little too young, not too young, but I didn't make it for the Sixers. But that parade was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing, and I'm sure the whole world was waiting for everything to erupt. There was a couple issues, but it doesn't matter where you go.
Yeah.
You're gonna have issues.
You're gonna have issues. Yeah.
People like to say that the Philadelphia Eagles fans are crazy. Let me tell you, I spent a weekend in the NFL Hall of Fame, and I got to spend time with the most fanatical fans for all the 32 NFL teams.
Yeah.
And they were all crazy. They all had crazy stories.
At the end of the day,
they were all crazy.
All of them are just crazy.
They were all crazy. And they all had crazy stories. And it was just as scary as being a Philadelphia Eagle fan.
Oh, nice.
And I'll say this real quick. I've been to about 27 NFL stadiums throughout that time that I was filming and past that. And while I was filming, I got to go to New England.
Okay. Oof.
And the people that I was filming a travel group from Philadelphia, the Green Legion.
Okay.
And they take tons and tons of people with them. And the owner of the Green Legion got me tickets, me and Damien tickets in the first 5 or 6 rows.
Yeah.
And from all the stadiums I've been to, that was the scariest one.
Yeah.
I was afraid because they were so used to winning that their mind frame, their way of thinking was, who the F are you?
Yeah.
Like, how did you get these tickets? And why are you wearing your Eagle stuff here? You know? I mean, it was scary. Dude, it was scary. Like, people say, oh, go to Philadelphia, scary. I was scared of New England.
Yeah.
I was scared. I remember looking at Damien and saying, yo, got to make sure you watch our backs. Every step we took, somebody was cursing at us, just being really aggressive with us. But yeah, that's my story with New England.
Well, unfortunately, my best friend and his father are both very, very big New England fans, and I have to hear about it. Well, not anymore, but no, I still have to hear about it. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's funny watching different fans interact, like especially those two, because they're just so technical, and all the time it's always they're gonna do good this year. It's like, no, probably not. Anyway, not that I'm saying the Birds are gonna do good this year anyway, so I don't need to get chastised for that. But anyway, yeah, it's so funny to watch different fan bases interact one with each other. I thought that I was in big trouble when I wore my Boston Red Sox hat into New York City. Nothing. I wore my Eagles hat into Boston. Oof. I got looks. No one really did anything, but I got looks of like, Red Sox. See, I'm one of you guys.
Yeah. It's weird. I mean, you would think going to New England you wouldn't have any issues, but man, they're tough out there.
Yeah. They got some tough fans.
They got some tough fans. They were winning for a long time, so they felt entitled to a lot of things.
Over a decade.
Until we had to even beat them in that Super Bowl.
Oh, how disappointing.
How sweet that was. From all the teams we could have played and beat, we got to beat Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Along with Eli Manning.
Oh yeah, right.
That'll stir the pot, won't it? So the movie was done. It was officially done. Was a big hit. A lot of people got to watch it. Is that where you ended up getting interested in film, videography? During
that time, I knew I was doing too much outside the house.
Yeah.
And even though most of the times my kids and family were with me, I wasn't spending enough time at home.
Gotcha.
And my kids were young, so I had to make a decision. I had a couple offers to do some other film work, but I had to make a decision, and my decision was to go back to being a dad.
Yeah.
And I don't regret it. So my love for filmmaking, even though it was my first time making films and videos and stuff like that, marketing, dealing with thousands of people at a time. Yeah. was great, but I needed to spend some time at home.
Yeah.
And that's what I chose to do. But I've always loved film and photography.
Yeah.
And being later here in my age here, getting into my second half of my life, I decided I want to do what I love.
Yeah.
You know, because if I pass away, if I die tomorrow, I want to do what I love.
Yeah.
And I love capturing people. I love capturing people
on film, not in real life.
On film, not in real life. Capturing people on film, on camera, when they're doing things that they love to do.
Yeah.
Whether it's a wedding, whether it's playing sports.
Yeah.
Catching that football, making that pass.
Yeah.
Jumping, getting married, the person you love. Portraits with your family.
Yeah.
Vacations. We do travel photography, videography. So it's called Times Remember Photography and Videography because we capture times that people want to remember. And with technology today, they'll be able to have that information forever.
Yeah.
It will always be online.
Yeah.
They will always be able to find those pictures. They will always be able to find those videos.
Yeah.
We're in an age now where if you put it together, it's going to stay.
Yeah.
So we want to capture, moments one click at a time.
Yeah.
Which is another one of our taglines. But we want to do it a little differently.
Okay.
One of the things I was talking about, I was just on Facebook, and the lady said, "Oh, you only pay so much to do this service," because I was asking for an editor to help us do some editing, and I put out a price out there, and they said, "Oh, you don't charge, like, that's crazy. That's a small amount of money." I said, "Well, what we take pride on is to make sure that anybody and everybody that wants to have something captured,
Yeah.
that we could do it for them."
Yeah.
And it might not sound fair to some people, but I'm going to deal with you depending on what your financial abilities are.
Yeah.
So I could do a wedding one day for $1,000,
Yeah.
and the next day I could do a wedding for $4,000.
Yeah.
And the guys that work with me, my team knows that, hey, you may get paid $800 for this wedding, but you may get paid $400 for the next.
Yeah.
Or it's a family member, you might not get paid. You might just get some food and some drinks. You know what I mean? But I wanted to make sure that everyone, regardless of their financial abilities, will be able to capture those moments and at a great quality. So that's our goal. Everybody that comes aboard knows that that's what we're doing. I kind of have a 5-year plan where I think the company, we can branch out over 4 or 5 different states.
Yeah. Well, you've done a lot of work so far. All wonderful photography work. All you guys.
And we try. We really. The thing is that, you know, we just came back into this kind of technology.
Yeah.
We just came back into photography and videography. So we had to get new stuff.
Yeah.
All new.
There was no question about this.
Back then, the lenses were like $300. Now my lenses are $2,500.
Yeah.
$3,500.
Yep.
So everything's changed.
Yeah.
And every year you have changes.
Yeah.
You know, you go from 4K to 10K. Like, everything is changing.
Or 8K.
And
then you start staring at it and
get
vertigo and fall down at Best Buy.
Exactly. Who does who uses that anyway? Who does that? But, you know, it's you know, we have a 5-year plan. I have a 5-year plan.
Yeah.
Where I want to make sure that I'm employing, that the company's employing people that love what they do. And make good money.
Yeah.
So they can take care of their families.
So when you were originally brainstorming all this in your head, you know, you got to travel a lot of places. And one of those places that you just got back from, I mentioned in the beginning, was the PR. And you were on Facebook Live and found this really, really cool hidden gem that's around the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how'd you find out about that, and kind of tell the people what that was and what that meant to you?
Which part were you talking about?
The flag.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, that place was called what's it called? Shipwreck Beach.
Okay.
And dude, it was just beautiful. It was just, you know, being a Hispanic man from Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
You know, I'm part Puerto Rican, part African American. I loved all of it, but being able to see that flag, you know, in that beach was just was amazing.
Yeah.
The whole process when you do travel photography, people look at you when you're on media and they say, "Oh my gosh, look at that! That's beautiful. This is awesome."
Yep.
But you can't really appreciate it all because you're working.
Yeah.
I got to make sure that my images are going to look good. I got to make sure that everything is fine. I got to look out for lights. I got to look out for, you know, it's a lot of work. But when you see things like that, like the flag at that place, you know, it kind of makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah, worth doing.
Yeah.
How can people contact you? You do weddings, you do birthday parties, you do stills, headshots, anything.
Anything that has to do with photography, videography, we can do. The best way to get a hold of us is, well, Facebook. You can get on Facebook, Times Remember Photography and Videography.
Yep.
You can also go into Instagram. We have 4 different Instagrams. TR Sports Pics, which is our sports. We have TR Weddings, and we also have TR Portraits, and then we have our Times Photography, which you can get.
Times.photography.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Instagram?
Yes. That's my Instagram.
That's your Instagram.
That's my Instagram. But if you go onto Facebook, it's Times Remember Photography and Videography.
Gotcha.
So yeah, we're very pleased to be where we are and very happy, and we can't wait to become part of people's lives, because that's what you do, man. It's like,
how many weddings have you done so far?
We've probably done about 8 weddings, and we have a whole bunch more to go. We'll probably have like another 4. Yeah.
COVID stuff is kind of almost over, I guess.
Yes.
But in doing, like, when you book a wedding, that's got to be one of the craziest times, because we all know how weddings can get to as well. What is the most fulfilling shot that you've done so far? I should say placement.
I don't know, man. People tell me I'm crazy because weddings are tough.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure in weddings.
Yeah.
But I just love everything about a wedding.
Yeah.
From her getting ready to him getting ready, from them being nervous. I mean, of course, everybody wants to talk about the kiss.
Yeah. But it's like before that. It's that moment leading up to it.
Yes, that moment leading up to it. When they're like, you know what, this is happening.
Yep.
Or when they feel that love, when they look at themselves in the mirror, or he puts on his tie, or his cummerbund, whatever it is he's putting on, and he looks, and
you can't forget the cummerbund.
Yeah, put that thing on. Even though it's 1980s, put it on.
Yeah. Go.
You don't have many people, but I can't. I don't have just one.
Yeah.
I all the moments are so important.
Yeah.
And as an artist, we try to capture the moments at the best time that we can.
Yeah.
And the most precious moments.
Yeah.
Candids are the best. But candids are tough to catch, because usually when there's a candid moment, there's lots of people around them. There's a lot of people around. So you kind of have to catch that moment where she's looking at her engagement ring, or she's looking at herself in the mirror.
Yeah.
Smiling because she knows she's getting married. This is the time.
Yeah.
The nervousness.
Yeah.
The wedding we just did in Harrisburg is an amazing wedding. It's like 300 people in this wedding.
Jeez.
And the groom, he was so nervous.
Yeah.
So we got a picture of him exhaling.
Nice.
But the beauty about the picture was he was exhaling because he was so happy that he had her.
There it is.
It was time.
Yeah.
It was time. You could see it in his face. It was just amazing. So to capture moments like that, that's one of the reasons why we do sports, is catching that touchdown catch. Yep. And not just the catch, but the guy looking at the ball.
Yeah.
The face, the features,
yeah.
The moment.
Yeah.
So anybody that looks at that picture at that time knows that there's an emotional connection.
Absolutely.
That's what it's about, capturing those emotional moments.
Yeah. Moments that are going to be, remembered forever.
Yes.
Times remembered, if you will.
That's correct. Times remembered photography and videography.
It's been so cool to just see God's evidence in your life and His hand on your life. It's been so cool just to be able to get you even know you even more. You're such a cool guy from the first day I met you. The whole fantasy football thing is it's a good group of guys. We got a good group of guys together, and I appreciate that. I appreciate being brought into that kind of atmosphere, because something rare to find nowadays. So thank you, Mr. Stanley Stashaw.
Yes, right. It. Well, good people.
Yeah.
Hang out with good people.
Absolutely.
And we there's some great people in the in our group. I mean, I'm second shooting for Anthony's wedding. And Kyle is shooting first. Kyle is also a photographer.
Oh, really? I didn't know
that. Yes.
Okay.
So he's the main photographer, and he asked me to second shoot.
Nice.
And, Anthony's going to be there. And it's just like this connection. It's like great people, man. Yeah. So
really like brothers.
I appreciate your time, man. I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to talk.
Absolutely, man.
Spread love, man. It's an awesome thing.
Yeah. And
you're doing great, man. I love the place here. I love what you've done. I love listening to you. And
thanks, man. Appreciate that.
I see nothing but good things.
Really do, man. Yeah. Time is short. So live it how you want
That's
to.
Right.
Before we wrap up here,
yes,
I have one more segment to do with you. Okay. This may be hard.
All right.
Or it might be easy. I don't know. Eagles fan to Eagles fan. Your top 5 Eagles player. Of Eagles players. Eagles players. Can't talk. Of all time.
Of all time.
Of all time.
Reggie. Reggie White.
Reggie White.
Brian Dawkins.
Brian Dawkins.
Javon Curse.
Mr. Curse.
I love Tommy McDonald. I got to meet Tommy McDonald.
Tommy McDonald. Okay.
You see, if you don't know Tommy, if you haven't met Tommy, it's if you see him when he was inducted into the Hall of Fame, he does this speech, he goes bonkers. Jeez. But that's the way Tommy is.
Yeah.
He's full of energy. He was just an awesome person. So Tommy would be the fourth. And then I know people gonna get me for this one, but
go off in the comments.
T.O.
T.O.
Yeah,
I respect it. I'm not even gonna argue with it. I respect it. I
respect it. His ability to come back from injury and take
that Super Bowl.
Take that Super Bowl on his shoulders.
Yep. Yeah.
Misunderstood individual, and
absolutely
an individual that during that time needed to be managed differently.
Yes.
But spending time with him, I got to spend time with him. I don't know if you remember when he was here at Rockville.
Yeah, I did.
I was the first one in line.
Oh, nice.
And I got to spend some time in the back room talking to him prior to that.
Got you.
So he was he's really down to earth and very dynamic in his skill set. But yeah, he's one of my favorites.
Yeah. No, he was.
I knew when he was out there, he was going to make a play.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have put Deshaun in there too, but because that game against the Giants,
oh my gosh,
to me,
historic,
dude. Not only
still watch it to this day.
Let me tell you how crazy that. Real quick, it was
so
crazy. We were at my house.
We have time,
and I always have huge Eagles parties.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I would have huge Eagles parties.
Yeah.
40, 50 people in my house. People falling outdoors, out the windows. People watching from the outside. Yeah. And everybody want to come to my party. Lewis, the Eagles fan, Greens fan. Yeah, we're going to go to the party. And people would come and bring food. And it was amazing. And my kids lived this thing.
Yeah.
And I remember that Giant game.
Yeah.
And I lived in Manhattan Township during that time.
Okay.
So, it's a nice, quiet area. And during that game, when he returned that kick, my whole house shook. I thought people were going to fall through the floor. I opened the front door and I started running out. And who was behind me? My two kids.
No.
And we were just yelling and screaming and go Eagles. And so, Deshaun's always been a favorite. And when he came to Lancaster, he did a favor for us.
Nice.
He met with me and the kids and gave us some autographs. And
nice.
I got a helmet of all the players there. So.
Yeah. Very outstanding.
So, he's always been pretty cool. So he's a nice person to meet.
Gonna miss him. Gonna miss him.
Yeah.
My friend, thank you for coming on.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it. Thanks for telling a little bit of your story.
Thank you.
Appreciate you again for everything that you do.
Yes.
I will congratulate you one more time for last year's fantasy football championship win.
Da-da-da-da.
This year it will not happen. I will not be in last. I am declaring that right now, everyone.
I'm declaring. Yes.
I will not be in last.
I agree with you.
I will take second to last before I take last. If you guys can check out any of the clips on YouTube of the Green Fans film.
Green Fans, the movie.
The movie. It's I watched some of the clips. Can't wait to watch the whole movie. Yeah. If you need any photography done, any videography done, please, I'm telling you, I'm not just saying this because he's my friend. I'm saying this. He is an amazing videographer and photographer. Does great shoots, great stuff if you need him for wedding parties, anything like that. As always, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, at Wallace Production, WALLESS Production. Check out the Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram page as well. Check out the new channel, Talk to Me Clips, where you see small clips like this that I just did with Lewis, if you don't like watching hour-long podcasts. Other than that, we'll see you guys later. Thank you again, sir.
Thank you very much. Hey, am I getting paid for this?
Oh.